Jamie with ORSANCO. I was just going to make a couple of videos to show you how to use the TraceFinder software, as well as a few maintenance things on the GC and setting up your purge and trap. So for this video, we will do creating a daily sequence on TraceFinder. So as you'll see on your desktop, there's the TraceFinder icon. You can just double click. Okay, and this is generally the default that it brings you to. Sometimes it might already be on the acquisition screen, but either way, you want to go to the acquisition screen first. So you would just click down here in the bottom left-hand corner to get to that, and that's how we'll create our batch for the day. So on a typical day, you'll just, so we've created these templates for a calibration file or a daily file. And if you've had other things that you could have created, will be there as well. But normally we'll just use the first two here. So right now we'll just set up a daily run. So if I just click on daily, it's already populated to contain your 30 compounds that are calibrated for. So then after you select that, you need to go up to your batch folder browser here. And this is just the default folder that it saves the project in. So we'll go down to the year that you're in. If you can see right now it's June 25th. I don't have a June folder. So if I need to add a folder, I can click on the year and click on this icon here, and that'll create a new folder underneath that tab. So I will do that. Some people do those ahead of time and just have all of the months of the year ahead of time. So whatever works for you. But I'll just go ahead and do that so you can see how I create it. And I like to do the number of the month first, so that way it stays in order versus alphabetical. So anyway, just click on whatever month you're in as well. Click OK, and that will put you in that folder. So for the batch name, we'll have, you can keep the daily, and here you can see it's kind of laid out for you to put the month, the day, the year. And normally we put the time where this 3 is. So yours might actually say HHMM for hour and minute. So we'll just do daily 06 25 20, and you can do like underscore, oh no, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's for the actual samples. We don't know what time it is based on the whole batch. So anyway, so we'll name our batch that, and then click the next button here in the top right. And again, it's got like a default list of probably what you'll generally run, but you can change this as needed. So I like to make sure you have a blank to start, and then you can do your CCV, your check standard. And then you kind of want to do another blank after you do a check standard, just to kind of clean the needle and make sure nothing carries over into your raw sample. So you want to have a blank as more of a cleanse in between samples, and then you can load your raw samples for the day. So if you need to add more samples, so here there's 2 defaulted. So I can click here, and I can actually just click this add new sample button, and it will add it there. If I wanted to do multiples, I could actually change the value here, and then I can click, I'll make sure this is highlighted, click the plus, and it'll add all 5 of those. So whatever number you enter in that field. So, and then however many you need to do for the day, we generally ask sites to do about 3 to 4 raw samples a day. That way we can get a pretty good estimation of what's going on, during multiple hours of the day versus just like 1 or 2. It's just better data collection. So here is where there's the HHMM for hour and minute. So to edit it, you could just double click it, and then we would just change the raw to raw underscore 06 25 20 underscore, and then we'll just pick a time. We'll just say 12, and then go ahead and edit all of your raw similarly. Oops. I believe you can actually copy and paste. Oh, there it is. So if you, I did Control C to copy the cell here, but when you paste it, you have to make sure you've highlighted it, or else it won't actually like do it. I just tried it there and it doesn't work, but if I highlight it, oops, no, maybe now it's gone. So either way, but so I'm going to change this one to, we'll just say a different time. So just since this is just an example, I'm just going to delete those, which you can do, remove selected samples. So anything you highlight will delete those rows. You can say yes, and there you go. So anything you edit, you can add or subtract back. The sample name isn't, like, it does default there. You don't necessarily have to have that populated. It doesn't matter for, we used to use it for something, but now we don't. So it's not that important that those are actually filled in. But normally we would just put the same value, but I'll just leave it for now. The vial position, you do have to have that filled in, or else the software will tell you that you have an error. So just keep them in order. This does not program your Persian traps. So technically, if they're not the right numbers, it won't matter. That's just for your own kind of tracking of what samples you're running. For sample types though, so unknown tells the software that, you know, we don't know what it is, so we kind of don't have an expectation. So if you click on one and click the down arrows, you can see the different types of samples. So for instance, the CCV is a check standard, so we would want to assign that as a check standard. And that tells the software that it's looking for something, you know, meaning we have known compounds under a check standard, so it's like it's assigned a certain level. So here you'll see it populated this level of CCV. If this was a cal standard, if you're running a calibration and you were to select cal standard, it would auto-populate to whatever number, and then you would do 5 calibrations, so you would do 1 through 5. But this is obviously not a cal standard, so I will change that back to an unknown. You could call it a blank as well, but I usually do my blanks as unknowns, and then that'll take that level away. So for any non-calibrations or check standards, the level will be blank. The rest of it's just default. You're injecting 1 microliter of the actual sample. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And then we'll just click next. And here, so right now, actually my GC is not connected, but normally this would be green as well. And then, so when you get to this screen, you would want to ensure all of these are green. If there is a red, then you obviously have a problem, whether your GC or your mass spec is not connected, or there could be an issue. So I would just investigate further. But either way, in this stage, I normally will save it. So you can click the save button, and that just saves your batch so that you don't lose it. So if you do the save button, then if you come down to, it'll take you back to that acquisition page, and then you can go to analysis, and you'll actually have to open the batch that you just created. So you'll go up to the open folder, or I believe you can do file open. And here we'll just select the month, and there's the one we just created. Open that. And here are the samples that you just made. So when you get to this screen, if you need to do any last minute editing, if you changed something or added a sample, you can also do it on this screen as well. Just remember to save your batch if you make any changes. But if not, you can just go ahead. The submit button is here. It's submit batch. That will submit all of your samples. If, for say, you were only running the last sample, or if you added on a sample at the end and you only need to run 1, you can click on that one, and then this icon is submit selected sample. So I'm going to click that just to show you, and here you'll see, okay, it's only going to run sample 6. It's going to acquire data and create reports. So that's how you know whether or not you clicked submit batch or submit a specific sample. So if I click submit batch, now it says 1 through 6. So we know it's going to submit all of them to acquire, and also create reports. So I would just click OK. I'm not going to because I don't have my GC on, but we're actually having issues with it right now. So I just wanted to show you that's the basic setup for creating just a daily run on TraceFinder. So when you do click submit though, this will actually turn, so it should have been green and it would turn yellow. I'll probably redo another video once we do get our GC running, but I wanted to give you guys a little starting point since you have some new people and would like to train. So at least something to get you by. But anyway, so this would have been green, and once I hit start, it actually turns yellow. And then it would say like sending method, and it would kind of go through a couple of stages. And then eventually it'll say waiting for contact closure. And what that means is it's waiting for the signal from the purge and trap to tell the GC to start. So you want it to be waiting for contact closure until your purge and trap is done. And if for some reason after your purge and trap finishes, if it doesn't trigger your GC to start, then you probably just have a communication issue. And a lot of times all you need to do is restart everything, but we'll get to that as they come, those issues. But yeah, you could always reach out to me if you ever have problems with that. But so that's pretty much the setup for a daily run on TraceFinder.